Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Studio Series Arcee from the Bumblebee movie. If you're wondering why I don't know the name, the number, or any of that stuff, I just got back from Italy. I'm recording this to make sure it gets out on time. But yeah, here is Studio Series Arcee. And she looks really, really great. My trip to Italy was pretty wonderful, by the way. I've posted up some pictures and stuff on the Discord. We had a lot of fun. But yeah, she turns into this futuristic motorcycle. I really dig it. I like the double wheels up front. I wish mine clicked together a little more solidly. I wonder if it feels like there is just the way the spacing works on the legs. Things are turning out here, and maybe there needed to be some additional connection points on the inside to kind of lock this to get the distance here correct. But yeah, I mean, this is a really neat Cybertronian vehicle. It rolls pretty nicely. I like that we've got like half wheels that roll here, so one side is solid, but one side rolls. We've got some casters below back here. I guess it's more of a trike. Yeah, and I'm not worrying about the box. We've seen the back of the diorama piece a million times by now. But yeah, I think it's pretty solid. It's a really cool looking Arcee. I guess my only minor complaint is we have the Arcee issue where it tends to be that she has her hands in the back just kind of sticking out, and once again we face kind of a similar problem here. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I really like the look of this. I would not mind this repainted in some other colors as another character. But yeah, this, I mean, it just looks really nice. I really like the pods, the paint here picked out. We've got some nice gunmetal pieces that break up the pink and the white really nicely. That windshield is neat. She is surprisingly compact. Here's her next to like Brawn, and we've got Ironhide. Like here's the five figures. We'll put Wheeljack back here. Yeah, compared to Wheeljack, I mean, she is deluxe sized properly and all that stuff. And yeah, after the pretty, I think, poor Arcee that was in the Bayformer movies, this version of Arcee, this design, while not strictly G1, still looks really, really good to me and makes me really, really happy just to look at. It's just a fun, weird, futuristic motorcycle, and I really like that. The next thing to do is to compare Arcee with some other Arcees, and this is kind of interesting to me just to see how her designs have changed over the years. I believe the first Arcee I ever got was the first edition Prime Arcee, so here we can see kind of two motorcycle modes next to each other, and obviously we've got a much more earthy motorcycle. I still really, really like this Arcee and this design. I know we got the legacy version of this toy. I haven't checked that out yet. I'm going to check it out in different colors than Arcee colors because I still am really happy with this figure. But it's neat to see, an Earth mode versus a Cybertronian mode. And obviously the Prime Arcee colors versus the classic G1 Arcee colors. I do like the way they look next to each other. I feel like the Prime Arcee design is very unique in its own way that, to me, it doesn't violate the rules I have in my collection. It feels very much like its own character versus like another Arcee. The other Arcee I've got is Thrilling 30, and I really like this mold. These two are probably my favorite out of the current Arcee mold. It's hard to pick. I like a lot of the Arcee toys. But I really like this one. I love all the black here. I kind of, looking at how just the black pops on this toy, it makes me wish there might have been some more black highlights here. We get some of that effect with the gunmetal gray. Like, that is nicely done, especially around the legs. I think that helps meld the wheels into the legs a little bit. But I think a version of this toy that had more of the black would have been really, really cool. Another Arcee I got later on, but actually came up before these two, is the animated Arcee. And obviously here we've got a much different color scheme. Again, I kind of consider these to be like different characters versus all the same. And I like that Arcee has had, some iconic pieces. The animated toy obviously is very reminiscent of her G1 design, but animated. And here we've got the same thing where we've got the hands hanging out the back here. These two RCs don't do that, but yeah, this is the one I remember where it does kind of, that's a, if we ever got like a new animated version, I'd love to see this where there was something sort of flap that covered this that could fold back or something. But other than that, I mean, I still think it's a great RC toy. I do have the Titan's Return one. I did customize mine, so you'll see the head in robot mode. But here's Titan's Return RC, and you can probably see some of the yellowing my RCs have experienced. I think this one is very evident. Like if you look at this side versus this side, just unfortunate. But it's just a thing that happens. We enjoy collecting pieces of plastic. It's going to happen with plastic and paint. But yeah, Titan's Return RC here. Again, this is kind of a neat, like, these are three different visions of a similarly inspired vehicle mode, which I really, really like. And last, and to me certainly least, we have the Earthrise RC mold, which I am just, the only reason I've got it is because I've got it in these colors. If it didn't come out in some unique color scheme, I absolutely would not still be holding onto this toy. It's not that great to me. Even the new one that came out in Studio Series 86, that's like a hybrid of these two, or it's a remold of this. I still think the Thrilling 30 is the best out of them. But in terms of what I prefer for vehicle mode, I think these three here are some great representations of RC's vehicle mode, some really great representations. But this just is a really cool idea, and I'm really, really happy with it. All right, we'll get these out of the way, and let's get on to transformation. Studio Series Bumblebee RC's transformation is pretty simple. We can take off these guns that peg into the back right here. They're just on these little pegs. Go into the slots on the side, set those aside. Come in on the motorcycle, the rear end, and we're going to flip out these pods on the side. I like to imagine they're like fuel pods as well as wheel wells, but they are tabbed in on the side here. They come out, and there's that tab in that slot. Same thing on this side, pops right out. This frees up our arms to get out of the way, and we can fold down this torso piece. With this separated out, we can flip around these pods, and we can separate. The front of the motorcycle has tabs. They don't secure, they're not super secure, but they do go into slots right here on the shins and then slots right here on the thighs. Those can separate up. We can fold this back. Actually, let's do the legs first. We'll separate the legs if they're not already separated. Like I said, I feel like things don't lock in super securely, and they very much want to come apart here. That's probably my biggest complaint about the figure, but it is, to me, a pretty minor one. Flip back the leg. We're going to rotate it to pull it. There we go. Pull it out so we can rotate it and put it back in. And there isn't, to me, there isn't a strong locking mechanism on this side, which is unfortunate. I would very much have appreciated some sort of tab that makes sure that clicks into place. We've got a nice little toes and a good-sized wheel heel here. But something else to lock this in place would have been appreciated. We do have a joint here that I tend not to really use for anything. Same thing on this side. Pull out on the pin, rotate this around, and then put it back. And again, wish there was some sort of locking mechanism here. I guess we could pull these out. Is that the way her legs are? I feel like that I prefer her legs very much like this, but we'll get to that in a moment. Pulling up this torso, we can open up this windshield, pull out the head. We're going to collapse this backpack. It's got a double joint here that it collapses in on itself pretty neatly. Bring it up and down. There's a joint here and a joint here and a joint on the inside that lets us collapse this whole mechanism back in. We've got two tabs on either side of the back piece. We've got two tabs on these gray sections that slide in here to lock that piece, and then we're going to close the whole thing up nicely. We can bring in, closing up the backpack, we can bring down her head. There's our RC head. And there's a tab here That's going to go into a slot in her chest. Get it around here. Close it up. Get her situated. Straighten out these arms. Close up the backpack. Adjust our camera up a little bit. And yeah, I forgot that we do kind of want things popped out just a little bit. And we'll keep this section back here straight. And yeah, we just fix her up. And here is Studio Series 86 Bumblebee Arcee. Straighten out her wrists. Give her her guns. And I think she looks pretty great. Again, heavily inspired by G1 Arcee. I think the backpack can go one of two ways. If I kind of like the wings out like this, we can obviously collapse things much tighter around her back. Again, my complaint is I guess in trying to give us easily accessible ankle tilt, I do wish this section locked in some manner. But she is nicely posable. She's got a really lovely Arcee head here. My eyes, I think, on my personal copy aren't painted super well, but the head itself is painted pretty nicely. Again, evocative of that hybrid of the Bayverse style and a more traditional robot style. Good neck articulation, good shoulder articulation, can get all the way around, can go that high. There is a bicep swivel here. There is a double joint at the elbow because of transformation, which I like. The wrist can just go in and out due to transformation. I guess it is pretty small. I don't know that there would have been a good spot to peg in a mushroom peg or something to give wrist rotation. I will say the shape of her arm is another minor complaint. If you look kind of at her shoulder through to the arm, it doesn't seem like she can straighten her arm all the way. And that's mostly just a result of the way things are sculpted, but it is a minor complaint. You can still get things out, you know, she can be pointed with her gun out in front of her, but it does seem a little odd instead of just holding out straight. But again, minor complaint. The waist does swivel, which is nice. The legs can do the full splits. When I first saw the way the sculpt worked, I was a little worried about the way this piece is molded if this would start interfering, but the cut is really just perfect around her pelvis to make sure you get like high kick capability, which is nice. Up front, there is a bit of a limit. In the back, there isn't really any limit, and we do get a single joint in the knee, which we can cheat out some of this articulation should we choose to do so on the calf, I guess. And we do have ankle tilt, but again, they constantly want to readjust where their position is. That looseness is probably my biggest complaint in robot mode. Second might be just the awkwardness of the arms and then the torso. I felt like before it locked in much nicer. Now I don't know why it's not playing nice with me. But, you know, some minor issues of looseness and stuff with the toy. But other than that, I mean, I think this is a pretty bomb-looking Arcee. And yeah, Arcee, again, I mean, I think this is a great reimagining of the G1 style Arcee. Here we have her next to animated, and we can see again that the Studio Series line is kind of on the small side. But I do like how these different versions of Arcee line up next to each other. Again, I think these are my favorite 4 Arcee figures here. They all look good. They all have, to me, their own unique identity. Thrilling 30 is, to me, the G1 Arcee. The Arcee that I remember the most is from the IDW comics. So I love this version of her. I really like the animated Arcee Omega Supreme storyline. Prime Arcee. Prime is what got me back into Transformers. And then we have the Bumblebee Arcee, which just looks really good in her own right. And we do have, again, comparing her to the Earthrise Arcee mold, not so much. I mean, I much prefer. I think the others just have more powerful builds. Prime Arcee has this like lithe proportions that make her look like an acrobat, and that's how she fights, like a ninja, flipping around, doing all sorts of cool combat stuff in Prime. the IDWRC, you know, I really like her proportions. I love the black accents again. Titan's Return Arcee. Again, I've got a custom head on my version, but I really like this character, like the big stomping boots on Nautica as well. I really like that design. Yeah, so the Earthrise one just doesn't do a whole lot for me, but this, as an RC, if you're looking for just like an RC in your collection, and these might be too expensive on the secondary market, the Studio Series one I think is just really, really solid. It's a great little deluxe. A lot of fun to play with, a lot of fun to pose. And let's get her next to all her buddies. Again, RC looks really good with the rest of the Cybertronian Autobots. I think as a little line for Studio Series, they look pretty fantastic. I appreciate, you know, Ratchet and Ironhide being a little bigger. I do think that Wheeljack and RC should have been maybe a head taller, or maybe they could have figured out a way to make Brawn a little shorter. But yeah, as a little squad, I mean, these guys look fantastic. I love the homage to the original designs, but they each are very much their own unique thing. In terms of what I've enjoyed the most out of the Studio Series line, I do think that the Ironhide Ratchet mold is my favorite so far, but all of them I would pick up again in new colors. If we got Wheeljack in a different color scheme, maybe Exhaust or Slicer or something. If we got Brawn I feel like might be generic enough to be any sort of mini-con, especially because his alt mode isn't really super brawny. It's this digging vehicle, so some other robot could be Brawn. RC, you know what I would love for a new RC? If they took this mold and they did it in the Titan Hunter RC colors, that like black and gray and purple color scheme that she has looked really, really cool. I think on this mold would look really, really nice. And yeah, again, fantastic little team. I think all of them I would recommend pretty easily. If you can get them on sale, even better. But if you can't, I think they're still very nice figures. And here is the last question for the last giveaway. As a reminder, this is what I am giving away. These 5 figures. And I was thinking about, you know, Italy and stuff. I really enjoyed my trip. Pompeii was really, really wonderful. I've never been there to Pompeii and Herculaneum and Mount Vesuvius before. I really loved, we started out in Venice and we went to Florence and then Rome and then Napoli. It was just wonderful all around. So I'm just basking in the glow of the trip. Again, if you go on the Discord, you can see some pictures I shared. What's been your favorite vacation memory? Where maybe it was a travel that you did, a trip you went out to, you know, visiting somewhere. What was your favorite? Or maybe it was just visiting some family, or maybe it was going with some friends, or maybe it was just a relaxing staycation. Whatever you may have done in the past, yeah, just share a nice vacation memory. And if you haven't already, if you go back, I did 5 videos, one for each of the dudes. There are 5 opportunities to enter the giveaway. You can go back and you can answer every one of those questions. Next week, I will announce the winner, and the winner will get all 5 of these, and we have a special announcement coming out next week in that video that'll talk about kind of upcoming plans and stuff. So answer this video down in the comments below. Again, favorite vacation memory. Go back, answer the others. This Friday, the 13th, I will be drawing the winner, and then on the 14th, I'll be drawing a winner, and then on the 15th will be the announcement of that winner. So come back, check out that video to see if you won these figures, and hope you all had a wonderful summer, as good as could be possible. I know some things have been rough around. I know people are struggling economically. Unfortunately, I've got friends in the UK that seem to be really struggling, especially if you're transgender. It seems like times are tough. But hopefully, you know, you're able to find some joy and some solace in whatever you take joy in. And if you end up in a rough position and you need help, you know, reach out to us. We like to think that we're a pretty good community. Talk to us on Discord. We're here to help, you know, wherever we can. Thanks again, everyone, it's been a wonderful, what is it, like 3 years I've been doing this now, maybe 4. With the pandemic, it's been hard to tell. But it's been really, really nice, and I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great day, everyone. Bye!